so here are the contents. There are 5 important points. The first one, I'll be presenting the first one, what vocabulary is important for learners, and the other points will be presented by other presenters. So, what vocabulary is important for learners? It is easy actually, because for analysts to make a corpus, to make a vocabulary corpus, for example, manual frequency count of an 11 million word. This corpus, an 11 million word corpus, is created by this guy named Kading, and it is to identify important words for the training of stenographers. Spelling mistake. Stenographers are people, analysts, who are very skilled in transcribed speech. Alright, so to create vocabulary corpus, it's easy because you can see in a text if the word is used frequently, then the word is important. So that is how vocabulary can be important for learning. Next slide. Alright. The development of computerized corpus analysis has made the job easier, no doubt, but then without human guidance, this computerized corpus analysis will not be able to work well. Okay, in order to make this useful word list, which is the vocabulary, teachers or analysts have to construct this useful list using a number of important methodological decisions. So these are the 2 decisions that they have to make. The first decision concerns on the choice of construction of a suitable corpus, and the second decision is it concerns on lemmatization. You guys remember what is lemmatization? It was in our test. Lemmatization is, for example, when teachers want to create a vocabulary, he or she needs to decide should words be categorized in two categories or in one category. For example, run and running are 2 verbs, but then it could be categorized in two categories or in only one category. Yeah, that is lemmatization. So the next point will be presented by Emma.
Alright, so I'll be presenting about vocabulary, materials, and formulaic language. So formulaic language is a linguistic term for verbal expressions that are fixed in form and attitudinal nuances. To understand this clearly, we have to know the definition of its subtopic, formulaic sequences. So formulaic sequences, according to Alison Ray, it is a string of words that competent language users draw on a range of lexicalized phrasal units. So basically, formulae are words that appear side by side, and according to Ray, are retrievable from memory. So exactly what should count as a formulae remains disputed, but the list includes collocation and colligations, pragmatically specialized expressions like command and idioms, as well as lexicalized sentence stems. So it is significant to know about formulae because constructing utterances from formulae rather than manually stringing together individual words is held to be cognitively efficient. And a good knowledge of formulae is generally important for achieving both fluency and native-like production. So basically your vocabulary will increase by inputting this string of words in your lexicon, which is why vocabulary material developers are so keen on using formulae for learners to learn vocabulary. And moving on to the 4 criterions for identifying what a formulae is. So it is, if you accept that formulae is an important aspect to learn vocabulary, then you should adapt and extend your vocabulary materials. But there are 2 problems that arises from this. The first is to determine which word strings are considered as a formulae, and to decide which of the many formulae known to native speakers learners need to learn most. So according to Alison Ray, she came up with 4 criterions for identifying this formulae. The first one is intuition, whereby formulae are those sequences which the analyst or informants recognizes, and the second one is the frequency, how much it occurs, how less it occurs, and the third one is structure. Formulae doesn't follow the usual rules of language. And the fourth one is phonology. It sounds more phonologically coherent. However, within corpus linguistics, the primary identification criterion has always been number 2, frequency of occurrence. The advantages are that it allows large amounts of text to be easily processed and bypasses the possible problems of subjectivity and inconsistency to which human analysts may be prone. However, the disadvantages are corpus representativeness and variations between speakers. Maybe in the corpus, idioms, for example, are well known, are typical within the corpus, but for a speaker, it's not typical for them. So that's one of the disadvantages. And the second disadvantage is the relationship between frequency and formularity cannot be a straightforward one. It means that typical formulaic expressions may occur frequently in a corpus, but things that are not considered as a formulaic expression, such as grammatical concords, for example, and in the, can be very frequent. So that limits the developer. And finally, to recap everything and make it chronologically sensible, a vocabulary materials developer needs to determine which of the hundreds and thousands of items estimated to exist in the average native lexicon for the learners to learn. So they will need to choose the best approach, and the best approach would naturally be frequency of occurrence. And from there they could know the formulae and teach the learners the formulae. So that's all. Next.
Yeah, hi guys and evening everyone. I'll be talking about what type of corpus is suitable for academic vocabulary learning. Okay, as you can see in this current slide, there are 3 corpus which focusing on English for academic purposes, AEP, have recently been developed in an attempt to meet the needs of international students studying higher education. So I provide 3 of them here. Baway, the British Academic Written English Corpus. The second one is Michigan Corpus of Upper Level Student Papers, MECAS. And the third one, the Academic Word List of.
I can stop now.
Let's move on to
Seriously?